Hello, YouTubers. Boy, have I got news for you. It has just been piling up here, so I thought I'd go ahead and bring you another special edition, catch up on all that's going on with the election news. First one that I have for you is off of bizpackreview.com, and I'm waiting for the hamster to fling it up here on the screen for me. Here we go. John Fund. America will have potential blackmail target in the White House if Hillary wins the election. In response to FBI Director James Comey's announcement Friday that additional emails related to Hillary Clinton's private server have been discovered, National Review columnist John Fund astutely pointed out that if Clinton wins the election, America will blackmail target in the White House. Published Sunday by FoxNews.com, the rival of the email scandal reminds folks community to include disgruntled FBI agents of just how exposed Hillary Clinton left highly classified information. Exposure that could leave her susceptible to blackmail. That while there's been no evidence that Clinton's private email server was hacked, there's no doubt the nominee and some of her closest aides were targets of hostile foreign actors who did have success tapping into personal email accounts. In short, we have to acknowledge the danger that Hillary Clinton could be the target of international blackmail in the White House, he wrote. And Fund was quick to point out that this would not be the first time a Clinton has put America in such a precarious position. Consider what happened the first time the Clinton couple was there. He said Bill Clinton's involvement with intern Monica Lewinsky had national security implications and also subjected him to possible blackmail. The Secret Service agent Gary Burns' book, Crisis of Character, to say U.S. intelligence agencies had concluded that Russia and Israel had all intercepted phone calls between Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. He then pointed to Daniel Halper's book, Clinton Incorporated, to suggest there was blackmail attempt against Bill Clinton. In October of 1998, in the release of In October of 1998, in a bid to gain the release of Israeli spy Jonathan Pollard, an Israeli team led by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu threatened to blackmail President Clinton with tapes of Clinton and Lewinsky, Fund said in Halper's book. The next article that I have for you is off of LibertyWritersNews.com. This one, new evidence just proved that Hillary Clinton is the head of the mafia. It says, look, Hillary Clinton is nothing more than a career criminal. She steals, murders, and abuses anyone who sees that as a threat. Well, now her criminal spree has come back to bite her in the, hard. We have just come across a series of documents that, when combined with the newest, proved beyond any doubt that Hillary was accepting illegal bribes while Secretary of State. She is the head of the Clinton Mafia. Let me break it down for you. This week, a new string of emails from Hillary Clinton's best friend, Doug Band, state that he helped Hillary Clinton acquire millions of dollars while she was Secretary of State. The same emails also revealed that Clinton took another $400,000 in personal gifts from foreign leaders and business leaders. We took a look into Clinton's own accounting recorded during her time as Secretary of State, in which she doesn't disclose receiving any Gibson donations. According to the National Legal and Policy Center, failure to report certain gifts in a financial disclosure form could violate the Ethics in Government Act or the Federal False Statements Act. Now tell me that does not seem worth nothing. Try that again. Now tell me that does not seem worth noting. If Hillary Clinton really wasn't doing, she would have disclosed the bribes. You know as well as I do, she has already ordered Google and mainstream media to scrub the story from existence. That's why it's up to you, my fellow patriots, to share this out and expose her crimes to everyone. Page, if you want to keep flipping through this one, there's also video in this if you want to take a look at it. All of these URLs, of course, are in the description of the video, so you can take a look at them at your leisure and check out the videos or do any other research you want to do on them. This next one is off of regated.com, and it says 34% less likely to vote Clinton after FBI investigation was reopened. And I'm waiting for the hamster to catch up to me and get the rest of it up here. He's running as fast as he can go. Okay, poll released Sunday shows 34% of likely voters are less likely to vote for Hillary Clinton. This comes after FBI reopened the Clinton email investigation. Fox News first reported in recent ABC Washington Post tracking poll shows there is growing concern over Clinton. The news broke on Friday that FBI would reopen the investigation. 1,781 participants could only respond on Friday about the new emails, the last day the poll was taken. These less likely voters may very well sway the election. FBI Director Comey told Congress the agency found emails related to its investigation. These emails pertain to Clinton's use of a private server while Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013. This is a major red flag to likely voters. The poll found 34% of the respondents were less likely to vote for Clinton. According to recent polls, she leads by just a single point, now 46 to 45%. In a four-way battle, support will likely decline as the election day draws near. So there you have that one. The next one I have for you is American off of AmericasMatters.com. It says, boom, Hillary just got horrible news. Check out what states are doing to her votes. Overnight, FBI Director James Comey has become the most hated and feared man by Democrats everywhere with a stunning announcement on Friday. Meanwhile, Republicans cheered as FBI announced they were reopening the email investigation into Hillary's mishandling of classified information. Hopes are high that Americans will finally get answers and Hillary will finally see justice. The FBI said they discovered new emails pertinent to the earlier investigation on several devices. Reports indicate that one phone device belongs to Anthony Weiner and another phone device belongs to his estranged wife, Abedin. With the 2016 presidential election in full swing and early voting open in several states, some states are allowing Americans to change their votes in light of the new information that may have become available since some have cast their ballots. Advantage of early voting in my state yesterday, though in my case, I won't be changing my vote because I didn't vote for Hillary, nor would I ever vote for such a criminal. It seems many Hillary supporters are clamoring to change their early votes, so the media is now providing a list of states that are allowing people to do this. Frankly, anyone that has been paying even the slightest bit of attention or has done even a modicum of research or is old enough to remember Bill's presidency and the subsequent fallout with the economic crash in 2008 and 2009 would vote for Hillary. In fact, places is simply beyond me. Her actions are indefensible. Here's a map of the states that will allow early voters to change their vote following the reopening of the FBI probe. And the states shown in the map here is Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, New York, Pennsylvania, Louisiana, Connecticut, and Hawaii. For those who have yet to vote, please consider all the corruption surrounding Hillary, as well as her known criminal behavior, before you subject the rest of us to another 4 years worth of Clinton baggage. Our country will spend all its energy on her issues and scandals and once again get nothing done for the American people. The next article I have is off of usanewsflash.com. Hillary caught paying California residents $300 to vote for her. This is it. We have her. California exposed a plot to convince halfway house residents to vote for Hillary in return for a $300 rebate check. In addition, he filmed the whole thing. Asked why he won't vote for Donald Trump, the man replies, Hillary will give you a rebate check worth $300. His interviewer asked, that's if you have Social Security or SSI? Who told you she gives you the rebate? Then the man then claims that the manager of his boarding care told him. And there is video of this in this article. Up and check that out for yourself. Wow. Can't make this stuff up. Next article I have is off the dailybeast.com, and it says Huma Abedin swore under oath that she gave up all devices with State Department emails. The FBI found emails pertinent to its Clinton investigation reportedly on a computer from her aide's home. With what she told lawyers this summer, in normal election year, normal candidates close aid who caused even minor embarrassment to a campaign so near to election day would be whisked away as quickly as possible to avoid becoming a distraction. Is not simply a close aide. She's a critical member of Hillary Clinton's tiny inner circle that protects and at times enables deeply flawed and secretive Democratic nominee. So despite FBI Director James Comey's announcement that the Bureau is reviewing emails from Abedin's time at the State Department, reportedly found on a laptop she shared with her soon-to-be ex-husband, Anthony Weiner, confiscated as part of the FBI's investigation into allegations he sexted with a 15-year-old North Carolina girl. The campaign made clear on Saturday that she's not going anywhere. The chairman of the Clinton campaign told the reporters on a conference call that Abedin had been nothing but cooperative with investigators and sat for hours of depositions last summer as part of the civil lawsuit filed by Judicial Watch. There's nothing that she's done that we think calls into question anything that she's done with respect to this investigation. We fully stand behind her, Podesta said. But the new information the FBI found State Department related email on her home laptop also calls into question whether Abedin in fact turned over all of the devices she used to send and receive email while working at the state. On June 28, 2016, Abedin said under oath in a sworn deposition that she looked for all devices that she thought contained government work on them so the record could be given to the State Department. Those records were subsequently reviewed by the FBI. Searching for what records you may have in your possession to be returned to the State Department, Attorney Ramona Cotta for the Judicial Watch asked her. Devices that may have any of my State Department work on it and returned, gave them to my attorneys for them to review for all relevant documents, and gave them devices and paper, Abedin answered. Cotta then asked Abedin specifically what devices she gave her attorneys. If memory serves me correctly, it was 2 laptops, a BlackBerry, and some files that I found in my apartment, Abedin said, adding the BlackBerry was associated with the ClintonMail.com account. Abedin maintained that she was not involved in the process of what records on her devices would be given to the State Department. I provided them, her attorneys, with the devices and the materials, asked them to find whatever they thought was relevant and appropriate, whatever was their determination as to what the federal did. They turned the materials in, and I know they did so. Abedin was asked whether she supplied her login password and other credentials to her ClintonMail.com account so that her attorneys could eyeball all the emails that were on that account. Abedin said she had. Pressed on how she was sure, Abedin said, I cannot answer that question. Abedin said her practice was to rely on State Department email, though her laptop and BlackBerry for the vast majority of my work, but acknowledged her personal account was a de facto business account too. I used that for the Clinton, and frankly, I used it for my own personal email as well, she testified. Abedin helped set up a private email address for Clinton at the start of her tenure as Secretary of State, according to State Department emails. Clinton wrote Abedin on November 12th of 2010, I don't want any risk of personal of the personal being accessible. This exchange in her deposition, Abdin said she interpreted Clinton's words to mean the Secretary of State hoped personal matters would not be accessible to anybody. I would imagine anybody who has personal email doesn't want that personal email to be read by anybody else, Abdin said. Asked whether the decision was made to deliberately avoid public disclosure through Freedom of Information Act, Abdin responded, I absolutely do not believe that, no. When she used, something trying to play here. See if we can get this stopped. Maybe. Okay. We'll see. About the time I think I have something stopped, then it plays again. Okay, we'll go on here. It says when told she used her clintonmail.com address for state-related matters, Abdin didn't deny it. Yes, there were occasions when I did do that, correct, she said, but Abdin said she rarely deleted emails when it came to her official State Department email account or her personal huma.com. My practice with my Clinton email was similar to what I had with my state account, which is that I left everything in the inbox, and I transitioned it, or I transitioned to a new email once the secretary's office was set up, but her personal office post State Department, I no longer used Clinton email. Abdin added that just before she left the State Department and ceased using her ClintonEmail.com account, she couldn't recall how many emails were returned. I certainly don't recall how many was on the account. I just left everything on the system, I guess. It appeared that Abdin amassed emails on government-issued BlackBerry that she thought were automatically purged. The emails on my State Department system existed on my computer, and I didn't have practice of managing my mailbox other than leaving what was in there sitting in there. So for my BlackBerry, if I exceeded the limit, I think it auto-deleted, but no, I didn't. I go into my emails and delete state.gov emails. They just Abdin said she didn't keep any paper printouts of any of the correspondence that may have been deleted or otherwise lost. Honestly, I wish I thought about it at the time. As I said, I wasn't perfect. I tried to do all my work on, and I do believe I did the majority of my work on state.gov. And instances where I was on Clinton email, it was because I had forwarded something from state.gov account into Clinton email, and in other instances from my Clinton email, I was communicating with somebody who was on a state.gov account, and it was captured through there. I did the best I could to do everything right. It did not occur to me to print and file. Abdin was asked if she had any concerns about Clinton's use of the private email server for State Department business, and she says, I assumed it was allowed, or it didn't occur to us. Judicial Watch followed up asking why no one inquired with the State Department official in charge of managing records to make sure it was allowed. And she says, we all wish we could go back. Try that again. We all wish we could go back and that not be the case. I wish that must only be greater 10 days before voters decide her boss's fate. We go with that, and we'll get off there before something else starts to play. The next one I have is off of regated.com. Says FBI begins reviewing 650,000 plus emails connected to Huma Abedin. FBI investigators have obtained Huma Abedin and her husband Anthony Weiner. FBI is not playing around anymore. FBI has to search the emails found on a laptop of Huma Abedin and there are allegations that Anthony Weiner handed over the devices to the FBI. That would mean there was no warrant needed. Metadata found on a laptop of Weiner and Abdin points toward thousands of concealed emails. There is some speculation the emails point to 33,000 deleted emails. WikiLeaks recently announced they're about to go into phase 3 within the coming days. What phase 3 is could be anyone's guess, but likely it's a big deal. And it says there is a chance FBI may have knowledge of what's within the coming WikiLeaks dump, hinting since the beginning of having evidence to indict Clinton. If 33,000 deleted emails got released and have enough to indict, we will likely see an arrest made soon. So there's that. The next one we have is off of conservativestate.com. And it says Hillary Clinton in 2013. I would like to see people like Donald Trump run for office. They're honest and can't be bought. Before running against billionaire real estate mogul Donald Trump for presidency, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton told an audience at a private paid speech she wanted to see more successful businessmen and women run for office because they can't be bought. In a speech made public by WikiLeaks, which released an email from Hillary for America Research Director Tony Clark containing 3 attached speeches given at a private Goldman Sachs event, Clinton spoke and took audience questions at the Builders and Innovators Summit hosted by Goldman Sachs on October 29th of 2013. Answering a question about businessmen and politics, Clinton said that they are most often the people that look over the horizon and therefore share a vision that many politicians today lack. And that's a very good question, and thank you for asking it. Yes, I would love to see more businessmen go into politics because I believe they would bring in an entirely different mindset and strategies than what we're used to seeing traditionally, she opted. And then she just had to go on. In fact, when you say businessmen and women, I can't help but think of a particular one that I would just love to see running for presidency at some point in the future, Clinton added. I don't know what is exactly about him. I can't quite put my finger on it, but my instinct is almost never wrong, and it's telling me that Donald Trump would be very successful if he were to venture into politics in the future. I'm sorry, I got to stop right there for a minute because, I mean, have you ever said anything that you wished you hadn't blurted out and would like to just grab right out of the air and shove it right back down your throat? I'm betting that she would like to grab those words right now. I'm just guessing. The article goes on and says, asked to elaborate on her statement, the former Secretary of State argued that she thinks that businessmen can't be bought and that they're very honest. And I think that goes especially for Donald Trump, whose successful projects and business ventures have made him synonymous with big business and, more importantly, creating thousands of jobs. I also think he understands the philanthropic and charitable side of things quite well, which is crucial skill for any politicians. She praised her current counter candidate. I think he has a lot to offer to this country and its people, especially when we're talking about the economy, she continued. Donald Trump has single-handedly helped stop the recession more so than dozens of other so-called billionaires, and I don't know how the experts on the matter feel, but in my book, that's hard evidence of a man's business prowess and integrity as well. And I think everyone would agree those are commendable character traits for anyone looking to tackle the most difficult problems and challenges in the world, quite literally. So yes, Donald Trump is someone I could very easily see winning the support of the people, and I don't think he would do that with his flammable rhetoric and negotiation skills, which are both things he's known for, but with common sense and respect for his fellow countrymen. But most of all, I think his relationship with the opposite sex would bring him the most political points. I think he respects women and treats them as equals, and I also think that would bring him a significant lead over anyone unlucky enough to be running against him, she ominously concluded in her 2013 speech. I can't make this up. I'm glad you can't see me right now because inside I'm laughing so hard there are tears rolling out of my eyes. Oh my goodness. I mean, Donald Trump needs to get a video of that speech, and that's what he needs to be playing. Holy smoke. Wow. Campaign chairman, I would be getting that out. Lord have mercy. That needs to be. Oh my. The next one we have for you is off of powerlineblog.com. It says voter fraud in Minnesota. And this is an updated article. It says that's a big time topic as Minnesota's same day registration scheme is notoriously subject to, in fact, invites abuse. But a group called Minnesota Voters Alliance has brought to light another problem. Felons, among others, are illegally being allowed to vote because Minnesota's Secretary of State refuses to follow the law. Yesterday, lawsuits were commenced by 3 election judges. Minnesota's Secretary of State and county election managers are being sued by election judges who claim the 2016 Minnesota Election Judge Guide requires them to violate state election laws. The lawsuits were filed today in Hennepin, Ramsey, and St. Louis counties by 3 election judges who are requesting an injunction relieving them from having to provide ballots to people who are listed as felons and non-citizens. State law establishes a detailed procedure to match felons, people under guardianship, and non-citizens against the list of people who have registered to vote voter registration system. In the case of a match, county auditors are required to change the voter status of any registered voters who are determined to be felons under guardianship or non-citizens. But according to instructions from the Secretary of State, election officials must allow felons, people under guardianship, and non-citizens who are identified as such on the poll roster to vote anyway, so long as they take an oath claiming they are eligible to vote. This is sheer lawlessness on the part of Governor Mark Dayton's administration and is just one of the number of ways which laws intended to promote ballot security are being violated or circumvented so that felons who are overwhelmingly vote Democrats, illegal aliens, and others can cast ballots. Voter fraud in Minnesota has already done great harm to the nation as a whole. Al Franken cast the decisive vote or 60th vote for Obamacare after he took office in 2009, following a disputed election in which he defeated Republican Norm Coleman by 312 votes. It's almost certain that voter fraud provided Franken's margin of victory, not fraud in absentee ballots, which were the subject of an extended recount, but fraud committed on election day when felons, non-citizens, and persons who had already voted elsewhere were allowed to cast ballots. We are living with the consequences today as Obamacare unravels. So there you have that. The next one is off of GOP, thedailydose.com. And this says Tim Kaine. The Catholic Church will change its same-sex marriage stance or it will be banned from the U.S. Democratic U.S. Vice Presidential nominee Tim Kaine announced Saturday that he believes the Catholic Church will change its position on same-sex marriage. The Virginia senator said that just like he had changed his opinion on the issue, the Catholic Church is also likely to follow suit. Speaking at the 20th Annual Human Rights Campaign's National Dinner in Washington, the Roman Catholic senator reportedly said, "I think it's going to change because my church also teaches me about a creator who, in the first chapter of Genesis, surveyed the entire world, including mankind, and said it is very good. And besides," he continued, "we are talking here about a country," an ad popping up, let me get rid of that. Okay. And besides, he continued, "we are talking here about a country that was based and founded on democracy as a core value. By definition, that means every single person and every single citizen is able," no, scratch that, "encouraged to practice his civil, religious, and above all sexual liberties to the best of their abilities. And I'm sorry that some people don't like it, but to deny same-sex marriage in a country that should be the first one to accept it, and the Catholic Church should also be accepting it instead of condemning it, which is what it's doing right now. Kane also added that if all else fails, there are ways of making the Catholic Church listen to the voice of reason, which is how he dubbed all those who advocate LGBT equality. At the end of the day, you know, we're civilized people. Of course, what we'll do is act nicely and ask nicely, he said. If that doesn't work, we'll use our law and our legal system to enable ourselves to be who we are, or rather the LGBT community will do that, as it has. The Supreme Court's ruling on same-sex marriage was a crucial milestone in our legal system that proves it works, it actually functions. So what I'm saying here, he argued, is that while I respect the Catholic Church, as I'm sure millions of Americans do, you know, at some point it's going to start acting contrary to the church, to the Christian faith, and we're talking about an institution that's supposed to be the first one on the front line defending it. And that's what's happening with condemning LGBT rights. Will state an ultimatum. The United States of America, more precisely, the future president of the United States of America, Hillary Clinton, will state an ultimatum. And that ultimatum will be to either change its stance on same-sex marriage or pack its bags and get out of America. And yes, the president of the country can do that. Wondering, no, Donald Trump won't do the same because he doesn't care about anyone other than Donald Trump. On the other hand, Hillary Clinton is a shining example of honesty, integrity, and democracy, and you can rest assured she will do everything in her power as the president to make sure gays and lesbians throughout America are loved, respected, and viewed as equals during the term. What happens after that is not our problem, Kane concluded. Holy smoke. He needs to shut up. Wow. Okay, next article I have for you is off of teaparty.org. In Assange, next leak will lead to arrest of Hillary Clinton. Well, how many times have we heard that? As the little boy crying wolf. Wow. I mean, we can be hopeful, but gee, I don't know. This starts out with a tweet, and it's got a video of Hillary in it, and it says, release the Podesta emails part 7. WikiLeaks .org, Podesta emails, Hillary Clinton, I'm with her, Podesta emails 7. And then under it, it says, WikiLeaks has released 35,594 Podesta emails since October the 7th. Special, Tea Party is launching a national grassroots campaign to push for the indictment of Hillary Clinton, and we need your help now more than ever. They have 50,000 Podesta emails to publish. And then there is a WikiLeaks tweet. It says, WikiLeaks, hashtag Podesta emails, started October 7th, released to date 21, emails published 35,594, total emails to be published 50,000 plus. Julian Assange says the next email leak will lead to arrest of Hillary Clinton by a Russia Today reporter in London. He will release more materials, and what he says will provide enough evidence to see Hillary Clinton arrested. And then there's a video in this if you want to see that. So, you know, I'm old school. A little less talk, a lot more action. You know, maybe I should have been for Missouri, show me state. The next one's off of conservativedailypost.com. It says, breaking, WikiLeaks just released full ISIS donor list with names. Barack Hussein Obama and Hillary Clinton are the founders of ISIS. We have proven that through emails and documents leaked from WikiLeaks, but liberal media outlets still refuse to cover it. After all, they're still more focused on what Trump said 11 years ago than what Hillary has actually done. Because of brave patriots like Julian Assange, we have been given more evidence that Hillary Clinton is more connected to ISIS than we originally believed. An email was leaked between Clinton and John Podesta indicating that Western intelligence U.S. intelligence and sources in the region to accuse Qatar and Saudi Arabia of providing clandestine financial and logistic support to ISIL or ISIS and other radical Sunni groups in the region, citing the need to use our diplomatic and more traditional intelligence assets, said Hillary to Podesta while arguing that current developments in the Middle East were important to the U.S. for reasons that often differ from country to country. Odd that Clinton argues Saudi Arabia and Qatar are helping fund ISIS when Hillary's largest donations come from those two countries. In another correspondence from 2012, Director of Foreign Policy at Clinton Foundation, Amitabh Desai, set up a meeting with Bill Clinton for 5 minutes in exchange for $1 million birthday check. That the small but rich nation occupying the Qatar Peninsula would welcome the Clinton Foundation's suggestions for investments in Haiti, particularly on education and health. While Qatar had already allocated most of their $20 million, they were happy to consider projects that we now see two more examples of Clinton acting corrupt and being intertwined with nations that fund ISIS. For those that do not see, let's simplify how all this works for Hillary. And there's some tweets in here if you want to pull that up and read it. It says Hillary as would sell terrorist nations large weapon deals only after they gave a generous donation to her foundation. These weapons provided by Hillary and her State Department then filtered down from Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Libya, and so on to create, supply, and bolster terrorist groups. That is exactly how ISIS was created, but instead of blowing them up with an air assault, decided to leave ISIS alone. Why? Because ISIS being in the Middle East allows the Obama-Clinton machine to make millions in personal profits from these nations in a repetitive cycle of selling weapons. They are choosing personal gain over eliminating a terrorist group. Let that sink in. Why else have they not arrested Hillary for all of these crimes? The FBI would arrest you in a heartbeat if you were went to Facebook right now to praise Allah and ISIS. Also speaks volumes as to why they're trying so hard to silence Julian Assange. The media remains silent on all of this. This would be plastered all over the news for months if President Trump was exposed for this. Ignorant politics are not the problem. The problem is that ignorant people keep voting for them every election. This is the exact reason we desperately need to change this country, and it starts with Donald Trump. People like Julian Assange have given up their lives to expose corruption in government, and allowing Hillary Clinton to win this election makes all of us sacrifices meaningless. He has offered us a chance to revolt against our tyrannical government. Chances like this do not occur often, and we do not seize the opportunity. We will suffer another 4 years of suppression from our corrupt leaders. Vote Trump so that we can save America and can pardon Julian Assange. So there you have. The next one we have here is off of allnewspipeline.com. And it says, war declared. Paid Clinton trolls working overtime in countdown to election. Reddit users fight back. Back in April 2016, Hillary Clinton's super PAC called Correct the Record issued a press release blatantly informing the public they would be spending more than $1 million to pay Clinton trolls and shills to engage in online messaging, both for Secretary Clinton and to push back against attackers on social media platforms like Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Instagram. If their own press releases isn't enough to convince people that they not only exist, but are actually being paid to infiltrate social media, comment sections, and forums across the internet, perhaps the document payments to individuals from Correct the Record list at the Federal Elections Commission website will. For those that would claim, well, it's only one super PAC. We will remind them that back in 2007, Clinton campaign was busted for the same type of trolling, registering to sites anonymously using multiple names for same one person known as sock puppets to boost pro-Hillary commentary and counter anti-Hillary attacks. As the comment thread revealed, users Pinball Wizard, Elf, Shelby24, MT, all registered in succession to recommend the diary. A further look by us revealed that they had registered within minutes of each other, including another user a bit later, Janbaby, who was not among the recommenders. The same IP address was used by all of them and is registered to the Clinton campaign. Two other recommenders, Blue and I'm not sure how to pronounce this, K. Misigi, also registered from the same IP address. The point being, these paid troll shills exist. They are paid to ramp up support for Clinton and to attack the GOP nominee for president, Donald Trump, using whatever methods are the most productive, dependent on what type of forum they are working on at the moment. For example, like cockroaches swarming to be left out food, they have converged on the popular social website Reddit, upvoting pro-Hillary threads en masse so they are seen by wider audience, and downvoting pro-Trump threads en masse to prevent them from being seen by wider audience. This has been noted to the extent that Reddit users have now declared war on Hillary's paid internet trolls. Via the Daily Caller, that says one of the top posts on /r/DNC leaks right now states CTR is in here heavy today. Make sure you are generous with your upvotes and downvotes, jerks. That post currently has 1,143 points. The number of upvotes a post receives minus the number of downvotes. I think they are making a final 2-week desperate push for their terrible candidate, reads one of the top comments from the Redditor who goes by the same username, Shalang Hat Wreck. Stupid CTR slaves, get a life and or conscience instead of being a propaganda slave for power that apparently needs propaganda. Another user, Let Us Fake, commented. And CTR is being swift, or let's try that again. CTR is being shifty. They downvote comments to 1, but not below, so it doesn't look like them shilling. They're trying to make us seem low energy. We're not. We're MAGA. One reads one popular post on subreddit r the Donald, which is the largest pro-Trump subreddit on the site with more than 240,000 subscribers. CTR downloaded the hell out of my post, proving the Podesta emails are verified to be 100% real and accurate. Here's the proof again. Don't let them downvote it again. Another person posted on the R. Donald on Thursday. Reddit is not alone in noticing this type of manipulation, as Facebook has people flagging pro-Trump posts, then censoring them, as well as suppressing conservative news from their trending newsfeed. And Twitter is shadow banning conservatives, just to name some examples of how prevalent this has become. Then it gives a section here on how to spot internet trolls and shills, if you want to read that part on your own. Then it has how to spot a Clinton paid internet shill, and another one with how to deal with trolls. And the bottom line on this says is shown by Reddit users declaring war on paid Clinton internet shills. These trolls are utilizing any and all methods to shut down discussion to make sure that anything related to Clinton scandals are seeing no light of day and cannot be shared with wider audiences. The original $1 million to be paid to online Hillary shills was recently increased to $6 million, so we know they are working overtime in the countdown until the election. Noting their behavior, the methods they employ, and refusing to allow them to derail a conversation is one of the best ways to counter their antics. We are days away from the presidential election, and Clinton shills are crawling out of the woodwork on social media and forums and comment sections. Don't give them what they want. And there's some video in this if you want to take a look at the videos. So, that's a rather lengthy article, but I hit the high spots in it. The next one is off of nonews.co. And this one is Hillary calls for killing a lot of civilians, starting war with Russia, media blackout. It says media paid little attention when Hillary Clinton advocated killing civilians and starting war with Russia during Sunday's presidential debate, probably because the U.S. media is actively cheering on these very actions. In fact, the only real news coverage generated from the mention of a no-fly zone in Syria was when the media slammed Donald Trump for saying he doesn't advocate using military aggression against Syria and by default Russia, despite Republican vice presidential candidate Mike Pence's opinion to the contrary. Trump throws Mike Pence under the bus at the debate, claims the Huffington Post. Trump shrugs off scandal, backs Russia, and throws Pence under the bus, says Foreign Policy magazine. Washington Post had the best title, dumbed down for the appropriate audience, as Mike Pence says Donald Trump didn't throw him under the bus on Syria, but Trump really, really did. What the Washington Post won't tell you is that it's fully backing Hillary Clinton's campaign for presidency, and if she follows through on the promises that she made in the debate, America will be facing 2 new major wars if Hillary becomes president. Judging by the fact the mainstream media has literally not covered or critiqued Clinton's no-fly zone debate comment, they must really, really want. America is involved in a couple more wars. But let me break it down in my headline, because Hillary Clinton's promise to create a no-fly zone in Syria sounds pretty harmless, right? First, let's summarize what a no-fly zone actually is. No-fly zone can be scaled from small to large, from a complete ban on enemy aircraft to a partial block on military aircraft. It essentially means controlling the airspace of an entire region or country. A no-fly zone would require bombing out air defenses, attacking airports, destroying aircraft, intercepting aircraft, engaging in air-to-air combat, placing boots on the ground, operating existing military bases while establishing new ones to house equipment and troops, employing radar, intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance aircraft, and creating all the infrastructure needed to support this kind of major operation. And it won't be just a few hundred boots on the ground either. According to the New York Times, imposing a no-fly zone, General Dempsey said, would require as many as 70,000 American servicemen to dismantle Syria's sophisticated anti-aircraft system and then impose a 24-hour watch over the country. That was General Martin E. Dempsey's estimation before Russia entered the Syrian theater to defend the Assad regime. The number right now was more like 100,000 American boots on the ground. Creating a no-fly zone in Syria is particularly harmful to Syrian civilians because many of Syria's air defense are located in densely populated areas. Hillary Clinton acknowledged as much in a formerly secret speech to Goldman Sachs recently, leaked by WikiLeaks. To have a no-fly zone, you have to take out all the air defense, many of which are located in populated areas. So our missiles, even if they are standoff missiles, so we're not putting our pilots at risk. So you're going to kill a lot of Syrians. So all of a sudden, this intervention that people talk about so glibly becomes an American and NATO involvement where you take a lot of civilians. So there you have it. By calling a no-fly zone in Syria, Hillary Clinton, in her own words, is knowingly advocating killing a lot of civilians. But nobody is brazen enough to start a war with nuclear-armed Russia, right? I mean, that's some terrifying apocalyptic absurdity that surely the media would take seriously. Well, if we're to take Hillary Clinton's, Russia, and Obama administration's policies and statements at face value, that's exactly what a no-fly zone in Syria would trigger. Let me explain. Amid souring relations between the United States and Russia over the Syrian conflict, diplomatic ties have been all but severed. Russia has now moved advanced anti-aircraft weaponry into Syria that it claims will be used to protect its personnel on the ground from air attacks. Russia says it will not hesitate to shoot down American aircraft if it feels its troops in Syria are threatened. In response, the United States said it maintains the right to self-defense against advanced anti-aircraft systems sent to Syria by Moscow. If Hillary Clinton wants to successfully establish a no-fly zone in Syria, she'll have to bomb Russian air defenses. In turn, as Russia has promised, it will shoot down American aircraft that threaten its military presence in Syria. And there you have it, folks, Hillary Clinton's war with Russia. But don't take my word for it. Here's U.S. Marine General Joseph Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, speaking in September of this year about the implications of controlling Syrian airspace. And it has the video of him talking about this right here in this article, if you would like to pull that up and take a look at it. I mean, wow. It is clear. I mean, you know, for the laymen who don't understand what no-fly zone means, you know, it doesn't sound very serious, but when you actually, you know, hear what all it entails, holy smoke. So the next one we have here is off of subjectpolitics.com. It says, Trump just won. Footage of Tim Kaine's racist tirades going viral. Watch before it's deleted. Well, it hasn't been deleted as of me bringing this out, so hopefully it'll be there for you when you get to this. It says Hillary wants this deleted from the internet. Remember 2 nights ago, well, actually, it's been a while now since the vice presidential debate, but remember when Tim Kaine spent the entire debate calling Trump a racist for being against illegal immigration and wanting to enforce law? Well, cranky Tim Kaine and crooked Hillary should have been made aware that these days everyone has access to the internet and can easily discover videos of their past statements. We dug up an old video from 2005 where Tim Kaine says the same thing he and Hillary labeled Trump as racist for saying. We also have dug up numerous racist quotes from Hillary and compiled them into a video at the bottom of this page. So you can watch these videos if you want to see this foolishness. It says, disclaimer, I obviously don't believe this statement is racist, but Tim Kaine does. We're just holding him to his own standard. Tim Kaine is talking about illegal immigration and says, I'm deeply opposed to illegal immigration, and I call on the federal government, the president, and the immigration services to stop the inflood of illegal immigrants to this country. And he didn't stop there. He says, I've supported wide state policies to make sure that we do not provide services to folks in this state not here legally. By his own standards, he's a racist. Watch it and share on Facebook so we can expose his hypocrisy to everyone. So, and it says, no, they are not actually racist quotes, but by her and Tim Kaine's definition, they are deplorable, racist, xenophobic statements. And there's another page to this if you want to pull that up and take a look at all that. I just thought that was interesting, you know, pot in the kettle and all that sort of thing. The last one that I have for you here is off of everynewshere.com, and it's titled, Russia Asked the CIA, why did Hillary Clinton just buy $137 million worth of illegal weapons? Good question. Shocking Foreign Intelligence Service report circulating the Kremlin today reveals that the Security Council this morning authorized the sending to the American Central Intelligence Agency of an emergency communique requesting an immediate explanation as to why the Democratic presidential nominee's money laundering organization known as the Clinton Foundation this past week purchased over $137 million of illegal arms and ammunition and whose destination is to be the United States, with delivery being marked as mid-November 2016. By what does it mean.com says, according to this report, SVR analysis being expressed urgent concern earlier this year when the main elements factions of the feared Victor Bout's international arms smuggling crime organization began arriving in the Republic of Albania. That is the only Muslim nation in Europe. Victor Bout is try that again. Victor Bout, this report explains, is most popularly known in the West as the Lord of Wars for his working with the CIA to smuggle illegal weapons throughout the world to further the maniacal interests of the United States until 2011, when Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had him jailed. Though a citizen of the Federation, this report continues, the SVR had no complaint or concern with Hillary Clinton having Bout jailed for 25 years, as it was an internal matter of the CIA, but whose intelligence analysts expressed worry and confusion this past May 2016 when the U.S. federal judge Shara said he should have had a reduced sentence, and that led yesterday to Bout suddenly, magically being transferred out of the maximum security to the country club atmosphere of the general ward of the U.S. federal prison he's been confined to. Coinciding with Bout's mysterious magical prison transfer yesterday, this report notes, was Hillary Clinton's money laundering, Clinton Foundation's transferring $137.7 million to the Socialist Party of Albania, controlled by the nation's Prime Minister Edi Rama, who is not only the head of the Zagja clan, known in the West as Albanian Mafia, but who was shockingly put into power by the Obama-Clinton regime over the protests of the Albanian people who did not want a mafia government controlling them. With Hillary Clinton's international arms merchant Prime Minister Rama having turned the entire Balkan region into one of the world's largest areas for arms smuggling that now threatens its very security, this report warns she had been aided in the effort by what many are calling her puppet master, the Hungarian-American billionaire George Soros, that recently released and shocking secret emails showing him ordering Hillary Clinton to install this mafia criminal as the leader of Albania. To fully understand why Hillary Clinton made this massive arms purchase, and no doubt was aided in doing so by the CIA's arms smuggler Victor Bout, SVR analysts in the report explained, in her adherence to George Soros's radical vision of open borders, and that he single-handedly began implementing by creating the European refugee crisis that will likewise engulf the United States should Hillary Clinton become president, and exactly as her secret email reveals, she plans on doing. Also, this report continues, and as the Federation knows all too well, the Soros-Clinton master plan to take down a nation begins with the establishment of what are called non-governmental organizations, NGOs, to act as a shadow government, ready to take power once the established order is thrown into chaos by massive protests, and why in 2013 President Putin banned them from operating in Russia. In the United States, however, this report grimly states the American people have no defense against these shadow government NGOs, and that SVR intelligence assets have documented in this report as being the receiving parties of Hillary Clinton's massive arms purchase, and include the George Soros created NGOs called Open Society Foundations, Media Matters, American Institute for Social Justice, the New American Foundation, the Migration Policy Institute, Tides Foundation, Center for American Progress, and the Democracy Alliance, every single one which stands opposed to the U.S. Constitution and the American people. Once these weapons are in the hands of Hillary Clinton's new revolutionaries, this report continues, they will then be used to unleash a terror wave across America protesting Donald Trump's landslide victory and thus enabling President Obama to declare martial law to disarm all of these people, and once doing so, allow the U.S. electors to place Hillary Clinton in power. Note the American presidents are not elected by the voting citizens, but by the vote of the electors selected from each of the nation's 50 states. This report sadly concludes, though, by noting that the massive vote fraud already being committed by Hillary Clinton's new revolutionaries throughout the United States, and that led this past week's former U.S. Congressman Joe Walsh stunningly stating, "If Trump loses, I'm grabbing my musket," a reference to one of the darkest times in American history when that nation ordinary citizens banded together to fight the British Empire for their freedom. Should strike fear into all Americans of what Hillary Clinton's new revolutionaries are doing right now. And if not, nothing will. So there you have that. And I always like to try to leave this on a little higher note because of all the news that we go through here that is rather negative. And I hope that everybody will be considerate of other people. And one of the best ways that you can be considerate of other people is to listen to what they have to say without interrupting them. You have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you should use your ears twice as much as you use your mouth. You have to listen to understand people, not listen to respond. So with that, we'll shut her down for this evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow for the current events. Bye.